Good evening and welcome to Meldon Law Monday, the Buddy Martin Show. I am Buddy Martin with you tonight, along with the cast of characters from Monday, the All-Star lineup. Shane Matthews, the QB1, is here. And, of course, it's Meldon Law Monday, and as you know, you see with the QR code, they won't back down. There's the information that you need if you need to get in touch with a lawyer. Also on the show tonight, Steve Russell, who's having a very successful run up in Gainesville as the rejuvenation of the show. He'll be on the program. And Franz, who was at the press conference today, where we didn't hear much beyond what we expected. So all coming your way tonight. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm getting tired of making a list of coaches. But I guess that's what we do. We'll see what Shane Matthews has to say. I don't think it matters to him. His pulse rate never gets above 2 anyway. We'll find out on the Buddy Martin Show.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Program. I'm Buddy Martin. Here is Shane Matthews. Listen to him call the game on Saturday night. By the way, it was a decent game for a minute. I've got Shane here. Brendan, I can't figure out why I don't have him up. But there you go. There you go. There he is. All right. Shane, how you doing, man? Good to see you. And I listened to you on Saturday night. It was an interesting, fascinating first quarter. You wonder where that offense has been. And, of course, A&M answered right back. The defense that we felt like was stable somewhat, turned into a good performance against Texas, disappeared suddenly. It became a track meet. It was close for 3 quarters, but there are a lot of things to pick apart. And quite frankly, Shane, I don't have the stomach for going over all of it. Tell me what you thought.
Well, it was a track meet early. I mean, both offenses were just going up and down the field, and everybody kind of settled in. But, I think both teams made some mistakes at times. A&M had a chance to put the game away even before we went for it on 4th down. When Marcel, they were up 7, and they had a chip shot field goal, and he throws the ball into double coverage in the end zone for an interception that gave us some life, keep us 1-score game. So, look, A&M's a very good football team. I think they're as equivalent to Miami in my opinion. Defensively, I think they're outstanding. Playing on the road, we got to find ways to win. We haven't been able to do that, and that's the big reason.
Rather than jump right into the coaching change, which we're going to get plenty of here over the next couple of weeks, and we will do some of that, but it's full of rumors. But before we do that, how many games could Florida win the rest of the way?
I mean, every game's different, buddy.
They could win this weekend. Okay, we know that.
They could. They could. I mean, look, the games at home, we play much better at home. I mean, most teams do.
Right.
Because I believe the crowd affects the game from penalties, right?
Right.
We had a bunch of false starts the other night because of the crowd noise. Texas had a bunch of false starts because of the crowd noise. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. We could also lose to Mississippi State. I mean, I expect us to win. I think we're a better team than them. I think their offense can cause us some problems. But, yeah, I expect to beat Mississippi State.
All right, so we're going to get back to the 4th down call at some point. And that's where it focuses. And it's not like there haven't been bad calls before on fourth down. But any way you look at this one, analytically or otherwise, and I don't think Billy ever actually answered the question. It kind of left it open. We know the third down call was a poor one. Tried to run the ball down. It was the 3rd and 6, whatever it was, and didn't make it. And now he's going to go for it on fourth. He didn't make it on third down. He's going on fourth. I said at the time, kick the ball. I think you felt the same way, right?
Yeah, it went against everything Billy's done since he's been coaching here. I didn't have a problem with him running on 3rd and 6, buddy, because if your plan is to go for it on fourth down, you expect to make some yards, right? Even if you just make 2 yards, now it's 4th and 4. I think it was a 4th and 6. I can't really remember. But, you see that happen in the NFL and in college football. A coach decides, look, I mean, we don't know if they're going to go for it on fourth down, but
they got 2 downs to make it, and I get it.
Yeah, so sometimes you run it thinking you can get 3 to 4 yards, and now it's really a 4th and really short. Didn't happen that way. And then we got pressure up the middle on the fourth down. DJ threw an off platform, falling backwards throw. We had 2 guys kind of in the same area. It was not a good play call. It may not have been good execution. We shouldn't have had 2 people there. I tell people all the time, I can promise you that we do not design plays for people to be in the same area.
No.
When that happens, that is on the players busting their assignment and not running the right route. Regardless of that, that play just went against everything that he's done from a coaching standpoint. And it really I don't want to say it cost us the game, but it put the game.
It was a focal point. It had to be.
I mean, because we're still down 7, but now they get the ball at midfield, and they went on one of the longest, most methodical drives I've ever seen.
It was.
They ran like 10 plays, but like 8 minutes off the clock. It was crazy.
Shane, let me get back to a point. Most coaches have those plays in their sleeves someplace, and they break them out just the right time. You practice them all the time. That fourth down play, what's that special call? You see them all the time. That was a vanilla up the middle play with nothing on it. And not only that, the offensive line was at times blocking horrendously. I mean, Austin Barber had an 0 for night. He did not grade. He did not get 1 point. He just had his hands full. He couldn't block the guy. And here's a guy we thought was coming on to be a better player. He whiffed everything. And, they were good players, but you can't have that. So, I mean, you go back and say, all right, if I got to play, I'm not going to run it there. Come up with something. If you're going to run the football, there's other plays they ran the first half. I mean, Ball, that quick pitch to the outside went really well early on. Where he jumped out there outside and got, but I don't know where any of those plays were because that wasn't the one to call.
Well, I don't study tape. I don't look at tendencies. I don't put game plans together, but that's what they do. That's how they decide on 3rd and 6 to 8. What's our best runs? What's our best passes? And then you have 3rd and 8 to 12, 8 to 10, 8 to 12 yards, different categories. Same with fourth down. So obviously they went off what they've seen on tape because that's kind of what you have to do. And I mean the 3rd down play killed us. Like I said, if we gain some yards on that, who knows what happens. But I figured after it was 3rd and 6 and we'd go for it and not make any yards, we'd punt it away, but we didn't.
Yeah, and anyway, so what about Billy's explanation? Did you understand? Did you hear it? Did you understand it? And
I didn't hear it.
All right. Well, he sort of backed into. I guess that's what the analytics show, but he never really did address it. Anyway, so look. There have been coaches, and there have been a couple of times over the years, and many thousands of years I've covered Florida football, where there have been plays that got guys fired. Plays. And certainly one of them was 4th and done with Doug Dickey against Georgia. That was a well-known one. Way before him, there was a guy named Bob Woodruff who played Rice. They were at midfield. The score was tied 10-10. He ran the clock out. Okay? And they asked him about it, why he didn't go for it. And his famous quote was, I'll gamble to win, but I'll never gamble to lose. That was his quote. Okay? So, look, it was a bad call, bad play, and a situation where Billy can't afford to have any mistakes. Now he's not made a case for himself to keep his job. And then we're sitting there making lists of coaches. We've all got our list of people we think are going to be there. But the reality, nobody really knows. I'll tell you the latest thing I've heard, and I know nothing. I just go by what people who know people. And I'm sure you know some of those people. I heard your show this morning. And what I was told this afternoon by a guy who's in the know, and he's a guy you know, and it's not Steve Spurrier, he's someone involved with money people. This guy told me that there were 3 factions of people in the money people. One group wanted Urban, one group wanted Lane, and one group wanted somebody else. I guess that's Signetti. I don't know. By the way, I have to say, you got to put Signetti's name back in the hat. 64 or not, beating Oregon was really impressive in the way he did it. So, well, here we go, playing the guessing game. I know you want Lane. I did hear today a rumor that his daughter had applied for law school of Florida, but that's not been confirmed. I called 2 people who are, well, and we make a difference, right? It would be a thing.
I don't think that matters because coaches have kids all over the country.
Yeah, I know, but still is something. What do we have? Go on.
Yeah.
I get my phone here. On the phone. So anyways, let's we'll see. I mean, there's lots of things. We're all looking for rumors, looking for things, anything inclination. We don't know. I know you still want Lane.
Well, I think he's the best coach for the job.
I'm not saying he's not. I
know. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. I'm just my opinion is he's been the best coach for the job. He's a home run hire. You can't ask for a better fit for what our program needs.
Okay. He struggled Saturday. His offense couldn't get the ball in there. No, I'm just saying that's what happened. Did you see his sarcastic comment about the student section?
That was great.
About our student section was about our red zone was about like our student section, late to arrive, obviously.
No, he said they didn't show up.
Didn't show up, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
Yeah, call him out, didn't he? All right. So where are you on coaching list after Shane, after Lane?
Oh, I think Kirk Signetti's a really good coach.
You like him? He's not too old.
I think he's outstanding. I think he's got a really good quarterback. He got that kid transfer from Cal. So those would be my top 2. After that, I don't really know.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
No, because I think you do everything you possibly can to get the number 1 guy.
Okay, now I got one for you and save it up here because you have said this a number of times on your program in the morning and here. We've all questioned and said we'd like to see 4 wides, and we know we're probably not going to have it.
Nobody in America runs 4 wides.
I know, but that's why I'd run it because the way America's running it. Here's the latest. Napier said the reason he does it, and I get this, has to do with Lagway's inability to run. That it said, and he's saying that. I heard him say it on his press conference. Now that's kind of new. Maybe I not heard that, and I'm sure that doesn't necessarily go well with Lagway. But anyway,
he's not a good runner.
He is when he's healthy. He's okay. He's a pretty good sized kid, and he made some nice runs in the past. But that's not his primary job. RPOs, maybe. All right, Sheena, here's a stat for you. Do you know how long it's been since the Gators have scored in the 4th quarter?
No idea.
37 days.
So how many games is that?
Well, I don't know how many that is. You can divide by 4, whatever. But 37 days is all I know since they scored in the 4th quarter. Anyway. So that's the situation. God, Mississippi State, homecoming. Billy says he thinks it'll make a difference because it's homecoming, that people really care about it, et cetera, the players. I'm not sure the players do or not, but it is homecoming. You make anything of that?
No. Look, here's the thing. And I don't know if it's because it's just our team. I think this is a lot about college football because there's so much turnover. Homecoming Now, if there's players on our team that stay here 4 or 5 years, like the Taylor Spiritos who were walk-ons, they love the University of Florida. Some of these people, I don't know if they care or not. And I'm not just talking about Florida. I'm talking about a lot of different teams around America. These kids that go to multiple schools.
Yeah.
When they're our age, buddy, where the hell what school are they going to pick to go to homecoming, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, homecoming's great. I think this is a good game. I don't know what the crowd's going to be like. I think our fan base has been outstanding this year.
Been great. Been great.
But this may be one of those games where the ticket price, I don't even know what it is. I don't know what face value. I don't know what they're on Ticketmaster. But, usually try to find one of those games to bring your kids to.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one to do it. There's a lot of stuff going on, So I don't know.
Gator Growl, etc.
I don't even, do they still have Gator Growl?
I don't know. Let's talk to Steve. He would know all this. I don't know. But I don't know about that.
Well, it ain't the normal Gator Growl. I quit doing that years ago.
But they have something, don't they?
I don't really know. I honestly don't know.
Well, dadgummit, we don't know this kind of stuff. I mean, heck, let's go see a guy, talk to a guy who does know. Meanwhile, Shane, you've seen all the lists and you've seen the names. And here's Steve Russell. He's probably got a few himself. Everybody's got a list, including Steve Russell. Hi, Steve. How you doing, man? Hey, Steve, are you there? Okay. Well, he has no audio. Don't have you, Shane. Steve. Okay. Let's try something else. Anyway, back to the idea of how do you like this? You said you loved the games this past week. How do you like these this weekend? I got a few here for you to talk about. There were some good games this past weekend. I was able to watch quite a few of them. Here you go. USC at Notre Dame doesn't do too much for me, but it's a game.
It'd be a good game.
You like that?
I do. SC could go in there and beat them.
So what?
Knock Notre Dame out of the playoffs. They went lose one more game, they're done.
You just like to see Notre Dame get beat, don't you?
I do. I don't care too much for Notre Dame, quite honestly.
I know you never do. You Southern boys are all alike.
No, I don't like them because they feel like they're better than everybody else because they have their own network and they won't join a conference. I respect what they do football-wise or what they have in the past, but I don't give a damn what Notre Dame does. I hate them.
Yeah, well, you're really patriotic. Let's see if Steve Russell can hear us now.
I got you.
Oh, there he is. All right. All right. We're just talking about the weekend's games, and also we'll get your take on the coaches and stuff. Say hello to Shane.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Shane.
Hi, Steve.
Do they have Gator Growl anymore?
I think so.
Okay. Thank you. We don't know.
It's kind of funny that we have to ask about it because I've heard nothing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably somebody who's informed enough. I'll go online here and they'll tell us. Like you, Shane, we have some informed people who listen and watch the show, and they usually know what's going on, like us. You got about 4 guys on your show, Shane, and you could never answer a question without them.
They do all my research.
They do. Your crack research team. Let's see here. Gator Growl was moved to Flavet Field.
Yeah, I did that a few years ago, but
Wait a minute. Let's see what he says here. Buddy, quit asking the same question about who Shane wants for a coach. He's told you 5,000 times. But you know, Scott?
It rhymes with my name, okay?
People also do have different answers sometimes. Doesn't mean you don't ask, maybe Signetti is a strong 1A.
He's a good coach.
But Scott, I will continue to ask him that question, okay? And I still don't know about Gator Growl. Panhandle Robinson's Growl is nothing like it was back in the days, dull and unexciting. Moved to Flavet Field and terrible. Okay, well, there you go. That's the answer to that. Yeah. All right, so before we get to questions from Steve about what is in the coaching chase, let me finish up the weekend the schedule, we know about Florida and Mississippi State. Utah, BYU, always a great game, rivalry of the Mormons. Ole Miss, Georgia, could be a really good game at Georgia. Washington at Michigan. Tennessee, Alabama is a big one. That's always, they used to be a huge game. Didn't they used to be played on the third or fourth Saturday every year or something?
It
Third
is.
Saturday.
Yeah, it is. But
Yeah.
third Saturday, which is
Yeah.
going to be the third Saturday now. Yeah.
Yeah. We have Boise State. How about Dan winning another game?
Good thing they can score because they can't stop a train.
Louisville and Miami. I didn't do much. People excited about that one. I don't think Miami's going to have a problem with them in Miami. LSU and Vanderbilt. Well, that could be interesting, and Vandy could win that game. Texas Tech, a team is getting a lot of run right now at Arizona State, and Georgia Tech at Duke. Anything for you there, Steve, that you want to watch?
You know, a team that I really like and a coach I really like is at Georgia Tech. You know, he's an alum, and they don't wow you. You know, Haynes King is a throwback, man. You know, he doesn't throw for 300 yards, but he's tough. You know, that offense is certainly, rallies around him. He's a winner. He does things with his legs. I love that kid because he's probably not going to be much in the NFL, but for what they ask him to do and what they ask, Georgia, he's a great fit for Georgia Tech. I love that kid.
Yeah. Auburn plays Vanderbilt according to Toby. I don't know. That's what the schedule I got offline from. So that's what's going. All right. Talk about the coaches. Let's talk about the call. Those are two topics I'm sure you addressed on your show today. Frank Shane and I talked about some. He's in the house. I'm not going to ask him again who he wants because I might get in trouble with somebody. Dare I ask questions on my own show? But let's just go with this. What are you hearing, and what do you hear about Cignetti, who seems to be now a little bit younger, although he's the same age?
Well, I was very impressed with Indiana going in and beating Oregon at their place, and they were the better team that day. There's no question. He turned that program around quickly, a program that has next to no football pedigree. That says a lot, and in a league that's pretty good. So I think he would, you can't be age discriminate. And look, at this point, fellas, if Cignetti is hired and he turns the program around and he's here 5 years, great. He's done his job. He's turned the program around. He's gotten Florida back to where Gator fans think it, that the program should be. So I think he's a very viable candidate. Drinkwitz, if you look at his record against top 10 teams, it's not very good. Now, he's done a great job at Missouri, and they played Alabama tough, but they lost. So they had a chance at home to get a win, and they didn't. So to me, he's a James Franklin kind of hire, good record, but when it comes down to beating really good teams, not too sure he could do that. Lane has proven he can beat good teams. So I get why people are excited about him. And Shane's right, buddy. He does sort of fit the, he wears the visor. He wears, he kind of zings. He's on social media. He's active with that. I think Gator fans would like that.
Yeah, he's an older version of Spurrier as a coach, and apparently from what they tell me. I don't know much about him. I like the way he coaches, like what he said. I like you said, that he has a zinger here and there, and I like his offense, like what he does there. And so, yeah, I'm with you on that. I can make a case for that. All right, let's go back to the play. All right. So, by the way, I want to get back to James Franklin too. An impassioned plea about Matt Rule today, which is really good, by the way. I love hearing what he has to say about it. And he's a Penn State guy himself. So the situation was Florida had a 2nd and 1 at the 50 with 1:40 left. They ran the ball, then milked 35 seconds off the clock before running the next play. Will somebody please tell them that the clock runs in the last 2 minutes, even when you run out of bounds? I mean, there's no clock control there, Shane.
Well, I talked about this on the air during the game. I don't know if DJ understood that. because he was pointing out the mic, or I don't know what they're doing, but he was changing protection. You can't do that in a 2-minute situation.
No.
What I don't like about our 2-minute drives is most teams, it doesn't matter what your personnel is, the receiver, you have two receivers or one. You have a right receiver and a left group of receivers, right? They run your routes, and you don't flip flop. That way, you can run more plays.
Right.
Our offense doesn't work that way. They play certain positions, so whatever formation, they got to run from one side of the field to the other. But I agree 1,000%. I don't think DJ understood that the clock stopped till they moved the chains. Then it started again.
It started back. Yeah, he did. I really had no idea.
If you go back and watch, he's busy pointing and changing protections and stuff. You don't have time.
And long snap counts.
You have to react in a 2-minute drill from a protection standpoint.
I would hope someone would get that word to him. If nobody else, I'm sure Steve Spurrier Jr. could do it. But anyway, that's a basic thing that should have known. And they started out. I mean, I don't get that at all. That's just poor. Those are the kind of things that make you crazy. Anyway, so they made the call. Well, I had a problem with, okay, I understand you're going to go to have 2 plays to get your first down. You might want to run the ball. Steve, what I said to Shane was, and he explained to me that was their play they had at the top of their list. And
I'm assuming that, buddy, because
I agree.
That's why they hold those sheets.
Yeah, I understand.
They've done their study, and then they say, okay, this is our number 1 3rd and 6 to 8 run. This is our number 2 3rd and 6. So I assume that's what happened. I'm going on my past.
And you can't make it on 3rd, then you go to 4th, and you put your quarterback in a bad situation. And as Shane points out, 2 guys in the same area. I mean, that just is not a good plan. I don't know. That bothered me a lot. The whole thing was, and I went back to my history, the days of Bob Woodruff, and when he ran the clock out in the middle of the field and tie game, and Doug Dickey on his 4th and dumb. And I know nobody wants to hear about all that, but the fact is that ranks up there one of the worst calls I think that I've seen in Florida football. Your thoughts, Shane?
Well, I gave my thoughts.
Let's get Steve.
Finish up, Shane. Finish up.
Well, my thoughts were, we talked about it earlier, is I was shocked because it's not what Billy Napier has been about in the 4 years here. I understood their thought process if they were talking over the headset. Look, we got 2 downs to get this first down. Well, if you run it, as I said, if you run it, you get 4 yards. Now it's 4th and 2, and you got a better option. But when you ran it and you got stuffed, I think then you got to reevaluate and say, you know what, we need to punt this.
Totally agree, buddy. That is so out of character for Billy Napier to start with, right? And look, we had a guy here that Shane played for who gambled a lot. Not a lot, some on 4th downs. And look, when you make them, you're a riverboat gambler. It looks really good, right? But when you don't, well, then the opposite happens. But that was Spurrier's MO. This is not Billy Napier's MO. That to me is the difference. You just don't do that in that situation.
Yeah, and you just like touching on what Steve said. Let's use Lane for example. Lane went for a bunch of 4th downs against LSU this year and converted them. He went for a bunch of 4th downs against the Gators last year, was 1 for 5, and it cost them the football game.
Yep, sure did.
Yeah. I don't think Shane, you defended him somewhat about his play calling over the years. Not that you defended him. You said you've looked at his play calling, and I have given him the benefit of the doubt. Well, I'm done now after this. I don't see anything happening, nothing fresh, nothing new. If you need a play, you don't have it. Players out of position, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, it's just not happening for me. I know it's going to get weary doing this, but everybody wants to talk about the coach. And Shane has said who his guy is, and we've said, I think there's still somebody out there. I'm not sure who. I really would like to see Lane be here, but I don't think he'll be here. I'm not sure about Signetti. He's a good coach. I'm not sure he's the right guy. The word I've heard is that the money people are split in 3s. One is Lane, one is Urban, and one is a guy to be named, whoever that coach may be. I still think the guy in Missouri is a guy worth looking at. Yeah, I mean he's an all round. He's got a good offense. He's got a good defense. I like the way they play. Don't you, Shane?
Well, I think Eli's done a great job there. But as Steve said, they've been fortunate with the schedule. And when it's, when they do have to play the big boys in the conference, they usually don't win the game. They play them tough. Again, how does that translate to a school like Florida? I don't know. But the one thing I like about Eli Drinkwitz, I don't know him, never met him. He's kind of got an edge to him, kind of how Lane does, how Signetti does. They have that. He has that cocky mentality, and some people don't like it. I love it. I don't care about these coaches taking shots at other teams. I think that's kind of what we need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's probably consensus of most people there. Let's see how many wins we can find for the rest of the year. I'm right now. I don't think I doubt they can find. If they can find 3, I don't think they can find. What do you think, guys? How many wins can we find?
Kentucky, Mississippi State, Florida State are possibilities.
Okay.
Would you not agree?
I would. But then what?
Going to Ole Miss, no picnic.
Yeah.
And I think, to Shane's point, Lane maybe coached one of his worst games here last year from a decision-making standpoint. Would you agree with that, Shane?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think he tried to do too much.
Yeah.
Now, he was 1 for 5, I think, on 4th downs. That cost him. Jackson Dart didn't play well either.
No.
But he kept handing it to his 300-pound defensive end on those 4th downs and never converted them. But the next 2 weeks for Ole Miss is make or break, right? They got Oklahoma. They're at Georgia, then at home to Oklahoma. So that'll determine a lot for where their future games are in postseason play.
All right, let's say good evening to Franz. Let's go right to our sponsor and talk about Meldon Law. Talk about their law firm, also their devotion to the University of Florida, the young official law firm hired by the University of Florida. They, of course, are known for their generosity, the sponsorships, and they're committed Gators. If you want to do something in the law field or you want to have a lawyer, why not get someone who's a Gator, if you are a Gator, and secondly, someone you can trust with a track record and somebody that can give you the benefit. If you have a problem, he doesn't have anybody in his office to do this, to help you out, he'll find somebody. I can tell you that because I've been to him. And that's his job, get you a good lawyer. So I suggest if you're in the area, especially, although now they're stretched out up and down Florida, all the way down to South Florida almost with 50 lawyers. Meldon Law, Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City, and Wilson. Meldon Law, they won't back down. All right, let's see what we got here. I lost there. There's Meldon Law right there. Thank you, Brendan, for putting that up. There's our guys. All right, say good evening to Franz Beard, he of the Hat Man. And Franz, well, you had your question today. I heard you get your question in the press conference. Also heard him blow off the question, Kevin Brockway's question completely and not even address it, act like he was addressing it and give a totally different answer. What was it like at the press conference?
Subdued. Hey, this is a guy, he knows what's coming. He even got asked about, coaches getting all the big buyout money. And he said, it's kind of the way it goes. And he says, we get well compensated, which was, I took it to mean, if they fire me, I'm walking away with $20 million. I mean, yeah. That's, buddy, I realize that's not as much money as you typically make in a month, but some of us have lived on less. Mm-hmm. He's going to do well financially. Doesn't have to coach again. Just like James Franklin. James Franklin's getting $49.8 million. By
the way, that's $20,000 a day, I believe.
Yeah, from Penn State.
Yeah,
and it is a high risk, high reward business when you get up at this level. You better produce. But but how many guys are an Urban Meyer that walks in wherever he goes and wins? How many schools these days in time have the patience, I mean, Kurt Signetti is 17-2, but if he had gone 6-6, would they still have the same patience with him coming into this year that
when there's a name of
they
it?
have,
Yeah, no, of course
that
not.
they
Yeah.
have, the world has changed. It's a whole lot different. I mean, I remember, Buddy, I'm sure you do, and Steve, and of course, Shane, you were the quarterback. But we were thinking that Steve Spurrier's first year, boy, it'd be really great if we could win 7 ball games, 1-9 that year. And should have won the SEC if not for that, for Tennessee and Georgia sticking it to us. But
we did win the SEC, Franz.
Well, I'm talking about officially speaking.
In
1990.
We had the best record. We'll leave it at that. We had the best record.
Yeah. But things have changed now. I mean, the expectations are greater than ever. You get hired, they're going to pay you big bucks, and they expect big bucks worth of return on this. Right now, Billy Napier has 21 wins, and so far he's been paid pretty close to about $26 million. So he's running about $1.25 million a win. That's pretty good compensation for wins.
All right, let's go finish the question. Then I want to answer a few questions online. And I'm going to give Shane his cookies and milk, let him go to bed for his show in the morning. But all right, so we sees 3 more wins, possible, probable, maybe even. Shane, did you ever say? You said that sounded about right to you. 3 more wins.
I'm not worried about any future predictions. I mean,
no, I'm just trying to get on the table what we think is left. And my lead-in was, what are you playing for anymore? You got to play for pride, according to Urban. According to Billy, the kids still play for it.
Well, I look at college football how the NFL used to be now. Because when you used to play for pride for your school, the damn logo on your helmet. I don't know if that's the case anymore.
Yeah.
But now with the transfer portal, like in the NFL, they say no matter if it's a preseason game or whatever, you are playing for all 32 teams or however many teams are. You may be on a roster, but you could be cut any day. So you're playing for a job. So you're going to put it all out there. I don't know what the mindset is of a college athlete in today's world. I really don't.
All right, Franz, what do you see left?
Well, I think that the biggest nightmare would be for Florida to beat Mississippi State and then somehow beat Georgia and be 4-4. If he all of a sudden beats Georgia and he's 4-4, I mean, that would probably be great for him. If you fire him after something like that. But I think they're counting on him losing at least one of the next 2 ball games and being at 5 losses. But it's a weird time, guys. I mean, if he were to, I should watch Georgia play. They, Auburn's guy had a touchdown. They're down 17-0. I don't know if they come back.
I watched it, yeah.
And so, is Georgia unbeatable? No. Could Florida beat them? Yeah, if they play like they did against Texas. The problem is we don't know which Florida team's going to show up. I think 4 wins is realistic. 5 is doable. But if they play like they did against Texas, gosh, what happens if they get to 7 wins?
A whole bunch of ifs and whatever. But let's get down to the question of when. We kind of think it's a fait accompli. The smart money is saying now that they would fire Billy after the Mississippi State game. That would give them an open date, 2 weeks to get ready for the interim coach, etc. I don't know how much the interim coach matters at this point in time, but I'm not sure if there is a good time. I'm on record as saying, I know people want change. I get it. They're mad. They're angry. Redemption, vindication. But the fact is, if it's better to let him coach the rest of the year or whatever, surely you can't screw up his team that much, can he, Steve?
No, but buddy, I've gone back and forth on this, and I've been accused by some people of, coddling the coaches, but I know how hard they work and, they do what they do. But just go back to James Franklin for a second, okay? They were in the national semifinal less than 1 year ago, and now he's gone. That's stunning. That's just stunning. If I'm a coach, I'm thinking, whoa. Now, we don't know. Maybe he lost his team. Maybe his team didn't want to play for him anymore. But it was interesting. The AD said, we're about championships here at Penn State. How many of you won at Penn State? And how many years ago was it that you won them at Penn State? Okay, I believe Joe Paterno won those, right? So, granted, they were great under Paterno, but what have they done? So, all of a sudden now you're going to get rid of a guy who got you to the national semifinal? That's not good enough anymore. So, for Billy Napier, if Scott Strickland and he meet every week, like Billy said they do today, right? Franz, you were there. He said they
Good
meet every week.
teammate. He's a good teammate, he called him.
Okay. Well, if you don't think as the athletic director he's the answer to get you to the playoff, then what's he here for? What's any coach here for if that is the measuring stick now? If the measuring stick is get me to the playoff, then if you don't think he can do it, what's he going to be here for?
Yeah, good question. And let me just put this in there. I'll let Shane answer, respond, and he can go. But the whole thing with Franklin, I didn't realize this. I heard Matt Rule today, and he was really impressive what he said. He's a Penn State guy. Mm-hmm. He loves Nebraska. He said he'll never leave it. It's his home. His family loves it. But I know. I heard those stories.
Yeah, I don't.
But you listen. I listened to him. I listened to judge character by this guy had tears in his eyes talking about James Franklin, why James Franklin deserved better fate than that and whatever. But here's my point. He brought up something I had forgotten about it. When Joe Paterno left the program in disgrace, horrible, one of the worst scandals in the history of sports. Bill O'Brien came in for 2 years and left, and James Franklin came in and gave him respectability. Granted, he didn't win this year, and he's just what you got to do. But those things ought to matter for something, but I guess they don't. I had just forgotten about that, how bad that program was, how they fought back to respectability, and now that dude is gone. They're going to have to go fire somebody. All right, Shane, your response to all that, I'll let you go.
Well, I'm with Steve. It's crazy that James Franklin got fired when they were in the Final Four last year. Matt Rule, I know he's a Penn State guy, and I know his best friend's their AD, and they look like twin brothers. If you haven't seen their AD, they look exactly alike.
They do.
I think Matt Rule's the next coach at Penn State.
I do too.
Okay. I could have been fooled. I've been fooled before. Could be. They
Matt
could do
Rule's
a lot
been
for
in a million schools. He will be the next coach, in my opinion, at Penn State. He bounces around.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, if you got a chance to do it, right? All right, Shane, on the show tomorrow morning, besides the old sports writer you got in the morning to kick around, who else is going to be on?
I got Matt Wyatt, the color analyst for the Mississippi State Radio Network. He played quarterback for them. Good dude.
All right. Well, be anxious to hear it. Thanks, Shane. Appreciate it. Good job tonight.
All right, fellas. Y'all have a good night.
All right, so thank you. We'll let Shane go back to his cooking his milk. And Franz, before I get too far down the road on this, and you're welcome to jump in there and change the subject at any time, Steve, if you'd like. I want to get to basketball. The AP poll came out today. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Number 3.
Number 3. I don't know what that means. Probably nothing.
Nothing.
But Purdue seems to be a lock for everybody. Everybody loves Purdue. And Houston we know about. I don't know a whole lot about Purdue, but obviously they're good.
They're coached by Matt Painter, and to me, that says it all right there. And Matt Painter is one of these coaches that I think that's good enough to get you talked about a lot, and he's also good enough to get you beaten in big games. He's been there now, 20 years, and has been to the Final Four one time, and that was, I think, with Zach Edey, but he didn't I've never been sold on Matt Painter, and I think part of that reason is because in 2007, his mother sat behind me in New Orleans when the Gators played Purdue in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and I thought his mom, I thought his mom was about as loud and obnoxious as anybody in the world. So there's my ears still ring from that, but. Matt Painter doesn't win big ball games. He never has, and I don't think they're good. I know Houston is replacing a lot of people. They're going to win because they're going to win because they play such good defense. But quite frankly, I just think Florida's the best team in the country, and I think that it's going to prove out over the course of a year. They're the most experienced 5, 6, 7 guys that you're going to find anywhere in the country. Best front court easily. And people say, well, look at all the guys we lost in the backcourt. Yeah, we did, but look at the guys we picked up. These guys are not slouches. They run, they jump, they can shoot. They between the two of them, they averaged 11 assists a ball game last year, which is more than the 3 guys they're replacing averaged. So they're used to scoring. They're used to moving the ball. And I think the Gators are going to be the best team in the country. They got a difficult schedule, but I don't think that's going to matter. They had a difficult schedule down the stretch last year, and look what happened. This guy really knows what he's doing. The more I watch Todd Golden coach, the more impressed I am. And I go back to the first year he was here when he went 16 and 17, and he didn't have a lot. And that was a team that, if not for the injury to Colin Castleton, could have made the NCAA tournament. He got hurt, and that kind of wrecked their chances. But this guy can really coach, and he really understands when to let him play and when to step in and do something that alters a game by a decision he makes. And he's got incredible timing for when he steps in and does stuff. He doesn't overcoach, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, it was had to see, and you were there last time it happened. It's hard to win back-to-back, Steve. This team looks really, really good in every facet of the talent levels, for sure. But what happened last year, if you go back and replay some of those games, there's some unbelievable finishes and some remarkable performances of things that happened, and some of those were done by those 3 senior guards who were so good. But they do have a lot of talent. They do have. It'll be fun to watch. Steve, your thoughts? And by the way, let's not forget to plug Franz's book, which is at the printer as we speak. The book is called The Golden Season. I'm sorry. It'll be out, published by Gator within probably the next 3 or 4 weeks. We'll have information on where you can get one, signings where you can come to, and you'll love the book. Franz says every step of the way, everything you want to know about that championship season. All right, what do you think about this basketball team, Steve?
Franz has watched practice. I have too, and they're really good. This is a good, solid, talented team. I don't disagree with anything Franz said, but I would put a caveat to it. You saw it. How many times last year did somebody step up, Clayton, whoever, with a key shot at the right time? That doesn't always repeat itself. Who is the guy then that sort of does that? Or is that by committee, right? That's what I'm looking to see, because everybody will play their best game against Florida because, they're wearing the championship hat, right? They're going to get their best. I don't care if they play Sisters of the Poor or they play, UConn. They're going to get the best shot. So they're talented. I think they're almost as talented as a year ago. And I think as the season wears on, they could be more talented. But again, tight game. Who takes the shot? Who wants the ball? What's that chemistry like? That's what I want to see. But no question, this team is capable of doing it again.
Yeah, good point. All right, so in the final minute and a half or 2 minutes, we got a piece here to talk about this. I'll let you pick your topic. Who has been the player that's most consistently that you think has had the best year for the Florida Gators? I got mine, Jake Slaughter. Pick out a player that you think, not just a good game or whatever, who's been the most consistent. When I see things I saw happen, Austin Barber, when he whiffed completely, he had the lower at 0 on the grade. I think, who's coaching this guy? Weren't we just talking about a couple of weeks ago, him having a great year, and all of a sudden he disappeared? I don't get where these players just disappear. That's got to be on the coach, on Rob Sale. But who's been the most consistent player on this team? I say it's been number 66. Franz?
I say it's number 5, Miles Graham.
Me too.
I think Miles. I think Miles Graham. If Florida was a good team, Miles Graham would be a shoo-in to make All SEC. But he's on a bad team, so he's not going to get that kind of notice. But he's just a sophomore. Next year, I think, with some good coaching and bring good coordinator, if they win a lot of ball games, he'll have that opportunity. But to me, he's been their best. To me, he's been the single most consistent player, and right now, I'd say he's my MVP.
I agree for just about everything Franz said. And the word you used, Franz, consistent. What you get with Miles Graham, you get every game, and that says a lot.
Well, you can't have the same one. You got to pick somebody else.
I can't. I got to pick somebody else.
Yeah.
That's hard because I don't.
Well, who's the next most consistent guy? Okay, and that way you're not.
Wow.
Trace Mack.
I wasn't even thinking kicker, Franz, but I mean, I would have said Jaden Ball, but then he's had up and down games too. But I still think he's as talented a running back as anybody in the league. So I think because of that, I'd say him.
I can't disagree with that. He's been a fabulous player. And although lately, I guess it's the blocking the offensive line, that the play where they did the quick pitch outside early on, France, in the game, he got it loose a couple of times. He almost broke it. And they didn't go back to that later.
Well, I think Jaden Ball is hindered more by the play calling than he is by the play of the offensive line. I think they run block pretty darn well, but the play calling is very, very inconsistent. I'll go back. I'll throw this at both of you. They throw the first two out of the first 3 series. They're throwing on first down, and the Aggies are on their heels. Then it seemed like from the second quarter onward, it was first down. You hand the ball off, and all of a sudden you're at it's second and 8 again, and the offense just went in the tank from that play.
Yeah.
Can I ask this?
Please do. Yes, go.
On my sports scene show, I'm getting more and more of this, and I want to get what you guys think.
Sure.
Billy Napier has just about come out and said, we don't run DJ Lagway because he's hurt. He's not healthy.
Yeah, right.
So he's not part of the run game, even though he can run away from pressure, but he's not part of the run game. Okay.
Yeah, said today, you could never use more wides because his quarterback can't run.
Right.
That's the first admission I heard of that.
Yeah. So now the thing is, well, if he can't run, put Tramel Jones in the game. Well, let him play.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Okay.
If you put him in the game and you think he's just going to be a runner, well, I mean, I'm not the brightest guy in the world, but I think most defensive coordinators are going to, zone in on that.
Yeah, one-dimensional.
I don't understand that. I don't think that's a wise move, but convince me I'm wrong.
I can't. I'd agree with what you said right there.
If he's too hurt to run, then I think he's too hurt to play. This is a guy that I think we all have seen him when he is at or near his best, and we'd all say this is a guy that we'll see on Sunday at some point in time in the near future. I think if you're the coach, why would you play a guy that is risking injury
Yeah.
because he's a statue in the pocket unless he's the only quarterback you got? Why not? Tramel Jones. I don't. If he's mobile, he can't do any worse.
He doesn't believe, Billy. He doesn't believe in that. He doesn't believe in that. Whatever. Okay. Whatever. What does he believe in? I don't know. Sometimes, and I haven't got time to address it now, and we don't this time around. But there's some comments about people saying, "You think Billy's so humble? He's very arrogant." They say because he thinks somebody else is any answers but him. Point to be made for that. Final thoughts, Franz. Final thoughts, Steve. 15 seconds apiece.
I think Florida's in deepest and darkest against Mississippi State this weekend. Mississippi State is a very good football team. Jeff Levy is an up-and-coming coach, and I think they're going to play well. And I think Florida's got some real issues.
Billy Napier's coaching for Saturday. Simple as that. Now, if he wins, could he be let go with a bye week coming up? Maybe. I think a loss, homecoming, seals his fate. He's coaching for his job.
It seems to be the attractive thought that is it, that this is a perfect weekend to fire him. Now, it's going to be harder to fire him if he wins, but hey, you never know. Hey, guys, great job. Don't forget, Steve, what time's your program on up there? Tell them about
1 to 2 for Sports Scene, weekdays.
Great to have you back, Franz. The book's coming out soon. We'll catch up with you later in the week, and we can't wait to talk a little more basketball with the man, Mr. Florida basketball. Appreciate it.
It's gonna be fun, and I got to tell you, Steve, you really, it's good having you back because you get good guests, and I think you're really fair with your guys.
One day I hope we grow up be big enough to be on Steve's show, but that's going to be a while. We have a long.
I got a few. Well, because of your book, number one, I want to get you on and talk about that. Because it obviously chronicles the year.
Yeah, you have friends over that.
And buddy, open week, you're going to be a man. So
all right, talk. Let me know. Love to be on. All right, good to talk to you. Appreciate it.
Okay,
that's nice begging to be on somebody's show. Good night, friends. Thank you. All right, so folks, let me wrap it up by telling you our thanks to our sponsors. We mentioned Meldon Law, also Titan MRI Imaging. They're one of the best people out there. They're fantastic at what they do. They have 3 locations to serve you in Gainesville, 2 in Gainesville, actually, Park Avenue and the Millennium Center, and one in Lake City, serve all of Columbia County and Valdosta, Georgia. Titan MRI Imaging offers the same great customer service, and they accept insurance, or you can go through their convenient self-pay options if you'd like. They offer MRIs, CAT scans, X-rays, and ultrasounds, easy scheduling with nighttime options if you need them because of your job conflict. The great thing about them, they have the larger MRI machines for patient comfort. No yards, no hospitals, coming soon to Ocala. The better serve Marion County and the surrounding areas. Titan MRI, it's your choice. Thanks to our guests tonight, Shane Matthews, Franz Beards, Steve Russell, and don't forget tomorrow night, it's Lauren Meadows. Tomorrow morning, catch me on the Shane Matthews show. Pot up with Matthews. We'll be talking, well, what else? Gator sports, Gator football. So thanks for listening, and thanks for watching, folks. Good night.